When the outdated tactics get left behind, it's time we stop. Marketers look around when your ranking's going down.
You know, it's interesting. I saw a post as well, I think on Search Engine Roundtable, where there was something about they're behind on Google reconsideration request. Thank God, I think it's been months since we've had anyone come to us that have said, hey, can you do a reconsideration request? Because I hear that there's like a 3-month delay in it. It may or may not have been cleared up, but as of like, I think roughly a week ago on Search Engine Roundtable, there was the quote from Danny saying, yeah, there's been a bit of a backup. I'm not sure if it's cleared up yet, but someone then posted something that they had submitted. There was like a Twitter thread about it. And then someone submitted something from, was it October 7th? Where they were still waiting for Mark. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, waiting for that traffic to go
Yeah,
back.
well, I wonder too, how hard are they hit? And then, it brings up all sorts of other questions. Like if sites are still being penalized, then why are you telling people you don't need to do a disavow? Well, first, I'm going to assume that the majority of the sites waiting, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to assume a lot of them were doing unnatural link stuff. Yet Google tells the world, hey, you don't need to do stuff. You don't need to use a disavow. You don't need to.
You may still count no fault.
Yeah, we got it. But every single site that's been sitting in a penalty since at least October 7th, it's probably like, beep, 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 beep. I wish we had someone review our backlinks, or, I wish we, maybe Google's just like to a point where they're like, if you're penalized nowadays, you can sit there since October, and what this is January 14th. So, maybe it just is what it is. And they're just like, we know by this date, 2022, we're pretty sure you knew whatever you were doing. But it's like, it's not, they're not. I mean, what part of it is? I'll tell you what part. I'll tell you what the majority of it is. For these sites, they're getting penalized for unnatural links. They don't know any better. And it's because they're like, they need trusted links. And so, of course, they hear they need related links. They need links. They research stuff. They find someone that says, we have contacts with thousands of bloggers, and you sell widgets, and we've got, 2,000 widget bloggers in our spreadsheet here, and we'll write a blog post about your thing, and we're going to try and get it on, the sites in the spreadsheet. And you're like, that sounds good. Those are all the widget bloggers. And you're like, yeah, they're all widget bloggers. And you're like, whoa, and you're going to write relevant, and you're like, whoa, and you have backlinks to money pages, whoa, and everyone's like, whoa, and you get them, and you look at them, and you're like, oh, these are great. And you show the boss, and the boss is like, wow, this is great. Your analyst may be going, there's no traffic coming from any of these. Unless you paid the big bucks to get out of one of the big sites. Yeah, I won't mention names, where Google's already filtering out the backlink, yada, yada. But you were paying. But in any case, and everyone's happy. But the problem is the guy with the spreadsheet that's got all the, the widget bloggers, all those widget bloggers are non-natural sites linking out to everyone in the world that'll pay the money. Like if you start going through all their blog posts, they're all stuff linking out to SEO'd money stuff that all can be mapped. And should I even talk about our mapping tool? Why not? Our internal link mapping tool.
If we can do that.
I don't think I haven't too much publicly said this, but I don't think the people, well, in any case, so, all the emails that people get, well, the emails that people get with like, I could get you some links on some high DA sites or whatever, I get the spreadsheets, and, every day almost I get a couple of those, and, I have someone internally that I send those to. They have another email, and they send out there and say, hey, send me over your spreadsheet. And sometimes the people on the other end are like, whoa, we can't send you over everything. Like, tell us some about your sites. And we're like, well, we work with a lot of education sites. They cover every topic you can imagine. We got finance sites or whatever, and the person's like, all right, send us over as many from your list as you can, because we need a big list to show the bosses. Okay. And we take all this stuff and we put it into a database. So, the seller's name and all the sites, boom, throw them into our database. And then we crawl all of those sites, and we also look at who those sites link out to, so we can start to find out who are all the other buyers. All right,
How many links they bought?
All these links for all these sites of this network, they're buying. You can look at the anchor text too, and like, oh yeah. So it's like, all right, and then we can take those sites and look at the common backlinks between those to find out what's the rest of the person's network who's selling them. And so we have these suspected links. And so we're tracking all this monthly. Anytime I do a link analysis, I pull up the first thing, which is, are they buying links? And it shows how many suspected and known links they have from all the networks. It's really crazy. We should do a whole video about that tool, Ann, but I'd feel bad because people can't use it. It's an internal private tool that we have. But, I think Ninjas and Google, are the only two people I'm aware of who map out all of the sellers. And I can even track when Google hits the sellers, and a lot of the stuff that people are getting penalized for. They don't, this went back to the penalization question. People are waiting for months. A lot of those companies, I don't think know. Like, all along the line, they all think they're doing the right stuff. Relevant, I got links from widget bloggers, relevant content, good links into here. They think what they're doing is good. It's that little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. And the scary thing is there's billion-dollar companies doing that because they don't know any better. And those are the people sitting out in that penalty. Of course, I wonder how much Google is penalizing these sites these days. I wonder if it's just you're penalized, but it's a little drop, or is it you're penalized, or you're, I don't know.
Yeah, like it used to be when you penalize, you even do not show up for your brand name.
Should almost be like, what would be a great post today is like, you better not get penalized today. Because if people are still waiting for a review from October, like, even though Google says, you don't need to do a disavow, wouldn't hurt. Well, that's the thing. It would hurt. This is kind of bad advice if I tell people everyone should start doing a disavow and analyzing their backlinks. Because to quote, John Mueller or Gary Ilias, one of them said, if it were up to me, I wouldn't even have the disavow, because I think more people shoot themselves in the foot when they use it. And that's so true. Everyone going like, the low domain authority, or it's toxic or whatever. And they're like, and all this bright green stuff must be good. It's like, yeah, then you mess your site up even more. And you're like, I did a disavow. How come everything is kind of still going down or whatever? Or those that like look at everything and they're like, it's all bad. Disavow it all. See that so much.
That's just good.
Or they get penalized. Yeah, I love the ones that get penalized. And, there's the companies that they're like 98% of the people we get unpenalized on the first try. And it's like they go in and disavow everything. And then Google, they submit to Google the reconsideration request, and Google's like, you're forgiven. You don't have anything left. Yeah. You're out of penalty. And they're like, we're out of penalty.
No penalty, no ranking.
And they're all partying, and it still continues to go down because now they've lost all their power. And they're like, well, we don't get it. We got out of penalty. Google says they got it anyways. They know the good from the bad. Then why are there manual penalties for bad links if
still
got it?
Going around. Yeah.
It's either, yeah. And then what do you use to look at your backlinks? Google said something else about how, you're getting a sampling of your links, but maybe that's enough to do an analysis. Maybe not. Wouldn't it be nice if Google one day said, here are the links that we're counting. Here's the ones we're not.
Do whatever you want with that information.
Or just here's all your links and let you decide, but not here's a sampling. what? You know, then it's like, then whatever I do for Eddie Lincoln analysis should only be off your sampling. You know, we shouldn't need to look at Miles Majestic, Href, SEM Rush, any of that stuff. Like, no, we'll use your sampling because that's what you're showing us.